Welcome to the Tao of Our Understanding Recovery Podcast. In this podcast, we discuss mystical works of literature and how they relate to recovery. We hope you enjoy today's podcast episode.
Hello, this is Buddy C. Welcome to the Tao of Our Understanding Recovery Podcast. Today we have Brian and Drew and Lou and Oscar and Scotty. Good to have you guys. We're on episode 297. Man, that's a lot of episodes. Y'all know y'all can go in the directory and you could even word search for the description. So if there's a particular topic you're looking for, a particular verse, most of these verses we've talked about at least 2, if not 3 times in the 300 or so episodes. Any announcements, go to buddyc.org. A lot of good resources there for you. Hey, we have a new person, Julie D. Oh, she's in Australia, I think, because she was in our Facebook group. Julie, good to have you.
Hi, how you going? Thanks
Good.
for having me.
You're quite welcome. We were just getting started, so you timed it almost right. So
Yeah, I had a few problems logging in. Sorry.
oh, that's okay. No. We're just happy to have you. So where are you? I know you're in Australia.
Perth, WA.
Perth. Okay. Well, good to have you, ma'am. Today we'll be talking about the 54th verse of the Tao Te Ching. Let's go ahead and read. Oscar, why don't you start us off with Jonathan Starr?
Yes, I love to. Thank you, and hello. Verse 54, the truth, once established, can never be uprooted. The truth, once imbibed, can never be stripped away. A sacrifice to a higher cause is never lost. An offering to an ancestor never goes to waste. When a person embodies Tao, his heart becomes true. When a family embodies Tao, it thrives. When a village embodies Tao, it's protected. When a country embodies Tao, it prospers. When the world embodies Tao, it reveals its perfection. Tao is everywhere. It has become everything. To truly see it, one must see it as it has revealed itself. In a person, see it as a person. In a family, see it as a family. In a country, see it as a country. In the world, see it as the world. How have I come to know all this? Tao has shown me. Tao as all this. Thank you.
Hey, Oscar. Now, you said if you go back up, about a third back, Tao is everywhere. It has become everything. To truly see it, what's the next phrase after truly see it?
To truly see it, one must see it as it has revealed itself.
See, mine only says see it as it is. So he's had an update between hours for what you say. So one must see it as it is. Oh, no, see it. Repeat yours again. I'm writing it down.
To truly see it, one must see it as it has revealed itself.
Has revealed itself. Huh. Thank you.
Thank you.
Brian, you want to read us Derek Lynn?
Sure. That which is well established cannot be uprooted. That which is strongly held cannot be taken. The descendants will commensurate it forever. Cultivated in yourself, its virtue shall be true. Cultivated in the family, its virtue shall be abundant. Cultivated in the community, its virtue shall be lasting. Cultivated in the country, its virtue shall be prosperous. Cultivated in the world, its virtue shall be widespread. Therefore, observe others with yourself. Observe other families with your family. Observe other communities with your community. Observe other countries with your country. Observe the world with the world. With what do I know the world? with this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mine has a lot more. I think it's another, I think it's a copy, okay, on our online version. All right. Any other translations or interpretations, guys? Okay, the Stephen Mitchell. And then we'll use the Stephen Mitchell for our conversation and go back and forth within any of these others or any other translation you want to use. Whoever is planted in the Tao will not be uprooted. What a promise. Whoever embraces the Tao will not slip away. Her name will be held in honor from generation to generation. It's talking about the Tao. Let the Tao be present in your life, and you will become genuine. Let it be present in your family, and your family will flourish. Let it be present in your country, and your country will be an example to all countries in the world. Let it be present in the universe, and the universe will sing. How do I know this is true? By looking inside myself. Yes. Any comments? It's amazing that it says we become things, but we're already that. Like we talk about all the time, that it's already there. There's nothing to add. It's like, I feel like I repeat myself all of the time, but I'm going to keep doing it. It's like a child. When my kids were, let's say a child 6 years old, just because that child cannot get in my car and drive to town does not mean that child is defective or incomplete in some way. The whole essence of that child is that person is already there. They just haven't grown up to be able to do those things. And I kind of think about this the same way. It's all there in what I'm seeing and what I sense. And we describe it as waking up to it. When I wake up in the morning, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm here. What day is it? What do I need to do? Oh, it's Saturday. We do the podcast. All of this is happening super fast, within the 3 seconds that or 5 seconds, whatever it is that I'm waking up, but it's still a process of me waking up. The first couple of seconds, I may think I'm in the dream that I was just in, oh, wait a minute, that was a dream, all those things. And it's just a waking up. I think that's what we do spiritually. It seems to be, because whenever I have any realizations, it's not that I read it in a book and I say, oh, that's how it is. I might read it in the book and say, I don't get that. I don't know. And then all of a sudden I'll be somewhere doing something, or I'll be meditating or whatever. All of a sudden, it's like this. I know something that I did not know a moment before, is how it seems to reveal itself to me. So it's that waking up process. I think this verse is helping us to see that. Whoever is planted in the Tao will not be uprooted. Whoever embraces the Tao will not slip away. So how do we become planted in the Tao? How do we embrace the Tao? You could rephrase that in a different language, and I could rephrase it in the love language and say, whoever's planted in love will not be uprooted. Whoever lets love have its way in your life will not slip away. That embrace is almost like a holding, I think. So the connotation is you don't slip, you embrace instead of slip away. So I think it's the same. You could think of it the same way. You take this action and you won't slip away. And it says will not, not maybe, but you will not. Y'all interrupt me. I'm just going to keep talking. Her name will be held in honor from generation to generation. So that's telling us that the Tao, virtue, is not going to lose its honor. This is the way things are. This is the only thing that's doesn't change. Everything else changes, but the way virtue works does not change. Have you ever thought about that? Our principles of recovery work. They've always worked for me if I surrendered to them, let's say. But everything else changes. All these other things change. They're constantly changing. Our new book for our Zen book study talked about in Buddhism, things change 70,000 times a second. A moment is 1/70th of a second, if I remember correctly. So our moments are just flashing over and over and over and over and over again. And what virtuous living does for me is it brings me to the moment. Oscar?
Yeah, thank you. I really like to connect with this timeless thing in us that there seems to be, or we seem to be the timeless thing. And it was a really huge discovery for me. And now you say, okay, you have this many moments of change, and this. My experience is all these changes go through something which doesn't change, and that's where I'm at home. And then I feel connected with everybody else, and with love, and with the virtues, and with the bliss. But the hard thing is the separation. So my voice in my head is coming up, and it says, no, you have to do something important, and it's really important. And I know, thank you, but it's really important, and you have to be angry, and then there come all the trash and all the all the bullshit comes up, and it's me. So the me, the lowercase me, the self with the self with the name. Oscar comes up, and he wants all kind of things, and he's making trouble. He's making a mess. The desires come up, but I really, really am convinced that this timeless being in me is what I really am. So, and it's always there, because time is going through this timeless thing. So it's always there. It's the only thing that's always there. It's now and here and now. Yeah, that's what it is. Here and now is timeless, right? It's the only thing we have. And within this only thing we have all these thoughts, which imagine a world in front of us and a world behind us, which is not there. Beautiful. Beautiful. Thanks for letting me share.
That reminded me, Oscar, of Michael Singer talking about that we just have to be open to whatever the moment brings and not allow those things to take us away.
The beauty of surrender, right? And I had such a lovely podcast this week about surrendering, and it was so clear, and someone explained so clear that it is not something I, Oscar, can do. It's something which can come over me if the circumstances are right. So I can build on the circumstances, but surrender is given me. And I thought that was so beautiful. Instead of fighting for surrender, which is insane, because why would I want surrender? If I want surrender, I'm lost. I'm never going to happen. But if I surrender to not wanting surrender and letting surrender come, it will come by God's grace.
Would that be the same as allowing surrender?
Yes, that's exactly the same. That's exactly it. Yeah.
If you know of the podcast, please share it with us. I'd love to hear that. Is it an English podcast?
It was an English one. Yeah. I will check it, because I listen a lot. But I will try to find it.
Yeah, if so, thank you. I was reading this with a sponsee actually earlier this morning. We're reading through the Winsa. For folks who don't know, from what I understand, there are three main texts that we use in Taoist philosophy and Taoist thought, other than the original being the I Ching, would be the Tao Te Ching, which we're talking today, the Chuanzi, Chuangtzu, which was a student of Lao Tzu, who wrote the Tao Te Ching as we understand it. And then there was the Wenzi, Wen-Tzu, was the third book, and I'm reading the Wenzi through, and we've done some chapters of the Wenzi before in prior podcast episodes. All three of these books you can find at buddyc.org in the bookstore. So they're all there if you want to order any of these. This was a line from the 67th verse. Human feelings are such that people submit to virtue rather than force. And it goes on to explain how people submit to virtue rather than force. Virtue is in what you give, not what you get. Therefore, when sages want to be valued by others, first they value others. When they want to be respected by others, first they respect others. When they want to overcome others, first they overcome themselves. When they want to humble others, first they humble themselves. So they're both noble and lowly, using the way to adjust and control this. That's how you can be planted in the Tao. Just like that. That was chapter 67, a portion of chapter 67 in the Wenzi. Also, I think the operative, back to the Stephen Mitchell, in the second stanza, tells us more about how to embrace the Tao and how to be rooted and planted in the Tao. Let the Tao. That's our job. Just like in recovery, our job is to step out of the way. And we've talked about that through surrender. Let it. Man, that's difficult for me to let things. No, my God, I want you to do this. Let the Tao be present in your life. And it says, let the Tao be present in your life and you will become genuine. So as you let the Tao be present, you start to change. That's what we learn in recovery. We act our way into right thinking. We don't think our way into right acting. So it's the same thing. So how do I let the Tao be present? How can I let compassion be present? How can I get compassion into the situation? What is that person afraid of that I'm arguing with? What am I afraid of? That's why I'm arguing. You know? I want to see why they're afraid. I don't want to see why I'm afraid, right? Yeah. Let it be present in your family. And guess what? Your family flourishes. Then it moves to country. Your country can be an example for the world. Then the universe. So it starts with us. This can't be legislated. This can't be forced. It's got to start with us. Yeah. And how do I know this is true anyway? This may be all BS. Julie?
Hi. For me, this second bit about being present in your life and you'll become genuine, over the last month since I've been looking at this and listening to your podcast, what I have realized is that if I'm present, I will be genuine. But I can't be present unless I stop and just be and listen. And in all the podcasts I've listened to, it says it is what it is and it doesn't have to have a name. And I've really struggled with taking the action of doing nothing, which really confused me. But then when reading this, it's like, if I'm present, then everything will be genuine. Then it says, and then if I'm being present, I'm genuine, then I'm able to actually look inside myself. I'm able to actually see what's really going on. And I have seen so much in the last month that I have not seen in nearly 10 years of recovery, that it's blown me away. And I'm like, oh my goodness. But it's like, wow, it's good. And it's taken as long as it takes, which I know we hear all the time. But it's like, I just need to be present, because if I'm not present, then I'm not allowing anything to come naturally and organically, because I'm trying to force all of these things. And when I don't force, everything is just unfolding in the universe's way, in the Tao's way of just being present in life in every situation. And my family relationships have flourished in this last month with my dad, who I've been in conflict with for, so many years. It's just extraordinary. And I'm just so grateful. So thank you. And I'll be quiet. Bye.
Oh, thank you, Julie. Thank you. You can comment as much as you like, dear. I'm prone to say, if those people would change, things would be so much better. But am I changing? Do they see the example in me? With the Winsa verse that I read, another way they could have said that was, the sage wants people to change, so they change. Right? How about if the sage had a drinking problem? The sage wanted to stop drinking, so he helped others that wanted to stop drinking. Wow. All this is universal. It's just said in different languages. That's all. That's all. Let it be present in your life. Let it be. You could have the Tao. If you don't have the Tao present in your life, you can't have it present in your family. If I'm holding on and not letting, I equate the letting to letting go, allowing. Like Oscar was talking about, the allowing with surrender. I have to take a step back. Last thing I want to do is let. I want to control. I want to give permission. I think this is more than just giving the Tao permission. This is letting go of the control. Oscar.
I had a session with Sponsi this morning about steps 10, 11, 12, and we read it together. And it was amazing how many times it says, we stopped fighting. And that's exactly what this is about. That's about that. Then when I stop fighting, everything is perfect. And as soon as something is not perfect, other people are not perfect, or situations or circumstances or whatever is not perfect, I'm in a fight. So we stopped fighting was really the theme of this morning session. And actually now I'm hearing it again, but maybe I'm hearing it because of the morning session. Could be. But we stopped fighting as a beautiful surrender in it, and the letting go and acceptance and forgiveness. It's kind of easy way. Just stop fighting. We stopped fighting. Thanks.
Lou.
I was going to tie in what Oscar was saying both times that he's talked now with what's in the Stephen Mitchell. It says, whoever is planted in the Tao will not be rooted up. Well, we're all planted in the Tao, right? Well, we can't help it. It's going through us. It's flowing through us. We're all in there. It's all in there. But what you were saying, what Oscar was saying about not fighting the Tao, about surrendering, about letting it go through us. What you were saying, buddy, about embracing compassion, embracing love. Maybe that's, kind of the point, or one of the points of this verse is that we're all rooted in it, but are we all embracing it? Are we all, mostly I'm fighting it. I'm thinking of the future. I'm thinking of the past. I'm whatever. And not in the surrender, not in the acceptance, not in the flow part of it.
Thank you, Lou. Yes. Oscar.
Yeah, it's the same, maybe also connecting to Julie. It's the same thing as that we are always present. It's a fact. It's the only thing there is. And we live in a kind of illusion that we are not living in the present most of the time, and sometimes come into the present. But it's a really weird thing to say, because it's the only thing there is. So being present is only about getting rid of myself. stepping back, as you said it, buddy. Stepping back. If I step back, I stop fighting, and I'm here and now, and that's the present. And in the present is Tao or God or consciousness or whatever name we give it. Lovely. Thanks.
Thanks, Oscar. When I was meditating this morning, I had an affirmation come up. I open my heart to what is. I do not resist what is in any form or fashion or in any way. Is that what we're talking about? I think it is. I think it is. It's amazing how that happens. So what actions do I take to let the Tao? Because each time it's the same thing. To become genuine, we let the Tao. For our family to flourish, we still have to let the Tao. We don't do this once and we're done. This is a way of life. It's like in recovery, I never graduate. It's never, okay, God, you show me twice, I'll take it from there. No, it's not like that either. It's a continual letting, continual surrender. And the more we let, the more we allow, the more we step out of the way, the more we flourish, really. Brian?
Yeah, I was thinking about, I'd heard in a podcast some time ago, a guy was talking about his recovery, and he said that he had to be willing to come all the way in and sit all the way down.
Ooh.
And I was like, damn, that's it. That's it. That's all I got.
It's like the little kid that his father was fussing at him and made him sit down and he didn't want to. He said, well, Daddy, I'm sitting down on the outside, but I'm standing up on the inside. This is talking about sitting down on the inside. I tried not doing that, and it almost killed me. 5 years of in and out. Literally almost killed me. Came very close to committing suicide. Tried a couple of times. I just didn't have the nerve. I mean, to the point of writing notes and pulled the gun away just as I shot, that kind of thing, I just couldn't get the nerve up to do it. And then one day I decided, I'm done trying. If this doesn't work, I'll figure out a way. I mean, the most chicken shit way I can find, I will do it one way or the other. And all of a sudden it just left. I'm like, what? I just had to stop trying for this to start working? I mean, it's like a cloud lifted all at one time. I was like, oh, that's what I had to do. I had to stop trying. So we hear all this, we see it. The way I let go is practicing compassionate living. That's how I let go. That's how I let the Tao be present in my life. So I practice compassionate living. And it's compartmentalized in that I can let the Tao in one portion of my life and not let the Tao in another portion of my life. It's not an all or none kind of deal. Surrender is not all or none. I see people in recovery all the time that I think are legitimate drunks that are sober, but their lives are a mess. I mean, people have been sober for as long as you want to say, 20, 30 years, whatever. And I wouldn't trade lives with them, on their best day. They just do not have what I want. I saw this a lot early. I'm 15 years now, but very early I saw this a lot. And I didn't quite understand it. And as time went on, I've understood it more. They surrendered to their alcoholism. They learned how to be powerless in relation to their alcohol through working the steps. But Brian, like we've talked about, they've never worked the steps on anything else. Full of fear about their family, full of fear about money. I don't want that. I want to practice and realize as being a reality, the 12th step that says that we practice these principles in all our affairs. That part of the 12th step I want, as a result of our spiritual awakening. I want that in every area of life because I want the same relief in these other things that I got from my alcoholism. because I found that once I got relief from the alcohol, these other things were some of the reasons I drank. And if I still carry that stuff around, I will be miserable. Absolutely. And may drink or escape through another means. I don't now, but I used to take my motorcycle and I'd find a good set of curves and I'd run them over and over and over and over again, faster every time, just to get that buzz, and this was, into sobriety. This wasn't, this was, a few years ago. And I was like, why do I want to feel that? Why is it I need that? I got the same thing from buying real estate at auctions. Man, I loved it. That excitement that, do I stop here? Do I go a little higher? Do I do that? All that stuff, I'm like, I'm still missing something. I'm getting too much out of this. I wasn't letting the Tao. There's nothing wrong with buying real estate at auction, but there's something wrong when I get that much out of it for sure. Or I've got to take and ride those curves over and over again. Turn around, go back and ride. Turn around, go back and just over and over and over. There's something wrong with that. Maybe once or twice, I enjoyed it and go on, but sit there for an hour and do that? There's something lacking. That's not normal behavior. I didn't have any of my friends that wanted to do that. Yeah. So how do I know this? I think this is all BS and forget it. This isn't real. How could this work? I call BS on the whole thing. How do I know this is true? By looking inside myself. One of the Guy Fu Fang says, how do I know the universe is like this? By looking. Hogan said, how do I know this? I just do. McDonald, how do I know this saying is true? I observe these things and see. I never looked within before. So how do I do this looking within? Because see, that's the start of the whole thing for me. The start is the end there. How can I be planning the Tao if I don't look within or any of these other things? I can't. Well, I know that when I got into recovery, that the steps helped to relieve the fears that kept me from looking within. I would not be able to look within. Even if I tried, I'd be carried off by fear and not be able to see things even partially clear, or much less clear than I see them now, not as if I see them clear now. I liked what you said, Oscar, about that. I'd never thought about it that way, that we are in the moment at all times. It's just an illusion that we're not. Thank you. I haven't heard it phrased like that. So how do I start seeing past that illusion so I can really look within? Well, I'll go through the steps. I surrender my fears. I start surrendering to my alcoholism. So I start seeing things a little clearer. I'll learn that from recovery that I change by helping others. So I start practicing helpfulness and more things. That makes it a little clearer. I can see a little better. Started meditating. I started in 16. So I've been meditating 8 years. I got it marked. I think it was June 18th was 8 years. Somewhat, almost daily. I've missed a number of days, but I will pretty much a daily practice for 8 years. Man, I notice so much more now. I think it has a lot to do with my meditation practice. My retreats. If you've been meditating and you want to try a silent retreat, I would definitely recommend it. I landed on Soto Zen as the folks to meditate with. I don't practice Soto Zen Buddhism, but I do meditate with them and meditate in the same way. So I go on retreats with them. I do a book study with them, and it works out well. But find a group, or just be open to finding a group, and the group will come to you. That's really the way to do it. You don't have to hustle. You just be open. Really, that's what we learn. We don't have to put forth excessive effort. We might need to do an internet search or something very, easy and non-stressful. For me, that seems to be how everything should work. Things we think are important or not, I'm amazed at the times things just line up that I'm not even thinking about. I had one yesterday. I'll share this one real quick. My dog has been itching a lot, scratching a lot. So I called and getting heat spots and all that. So I called the vet and they said, well, we can work you in. This was yesterday. We can work you in today if you come over because it could be several different things, blah, blah, blah. And his ears were itching and all kinds of stuff. And so I said, okay, I'll have him over this morning. And before that, my brother shows up. Now I live an hour from them, and he never just shows up. I haven't seen him since Christmas, I guess. We're all several years apart, and we never ran together, and we never were really great friends. We're family and no problems, but we're just not that close. So he just shows up out of the blue. So we're chatting. I said, yeah, my dog's doing this and this. He said, well, my dog, and he went in, and his dog had most of the same issues. He said, is he eating grass? I said, yeah, he's eating grass. He said, well, this is probably what it is. And buy this thing. So I ordered it yesterday before I had to go to the dentist, go to the vet, And I'm like, why was that important for me not to take 2 hours to go to the vet today? I guess because I didn't care. I wasn't invested. I don't know. That's what seems to be why these simple things seem to work so much better, is because I'm allowing all of those things. I don't care, and so it can work where the things I'm really wanting to control and I'm fearful about and all that, it doesn't work as easy because I'm not letting. It's really an attitude. It has to do with my level of care that I'm carrying too. Like the third step talks about, that we turn our will and our life over to the care of God as we understand God. So if I'm carrying that care, I'm not letting. I'm not surrendering. Man, what a great way of life. So I'm hoping when I get this stuff I bought on Amazon in, that it will help my dog. We'll see. But that kind of thing happens all the time. Someone just shows up and something happens. And Brian, I'm going to tell my glasses story real quick. I've got a pair of reading glasses I really like. These titanium that do very well. They don't hurt, and I can wear them for hours and hours and hours with no problem. And I thought one day, I said, maybe I should buy me a second pair because something could happen. They're not that expensive. So I bought 3 pair for $10 more than 1 pair had cost. And I was out. I live on a lake, and I was working on something at the dock, and bloop, my glasses fell into the water. And I took the net, and it's not very deep, 5-6 feet deep. And I go and I pull it real careful, and I bring the glasses up, and they were there. And I was like, oh, okay. And I said, well, the other glasses haven't came in. And I went up and checked, and they said they delivered them yesterday. So I went down, checked the mailbox, and there they were. And I'm like, that really would have made a great story if I would have lost my glasses and my new ones were in the mailbox for me. I said, I wonder why I needed to order these glasses. And I just started thinking, how did it, and all of that. So I said, okay. So later that evening, I was replacing some boards on the dock, and I was working along trying to be very careful, but I lost my glasses again. This time it was in the center of the dock where we have a lot of fish habitat under it. So there's no way to get them out. I was like, now I know why I ordered the glasses. I did need them after all. It's just amazing how on those things that this can work. As we let go of more of that care, I think about those things we feel take more of our effort, the more this can work, I think. That's how it seems to be for me. You guys have any comments in regards to that or anything else we've talked about? Thanks for a good conversation today. Julie, we want to see you next week, dear. Put us on your calendar. We've got 3 continents here. It's great. Thank you. You guys have a great week. Hello, this is Buddy C. I wanted to make you aware of several recovery-related resources that I've posted in the episode description. These resources include a list of recovery podcasts, a free sober meditation app, daily recovery email, shared Google Recovery calendars. Hope you put some of these resources to use and have a great week.
Thank you for listening to the Tao of Our Understanding Recovery Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with your friends in recovery.